Hey guys, and welcome back to Quality Shot Tennis. Today we've got Jack Draper taking on Carlos Alcaraz in the fourth round in Melbourne for a quarterfinal spot. Welcome in. This is the stream where you want to be. It's midnight in the States. I've stayed up and I'm here for it. My stream says Goff versus Bencic. It's not, although that was also fun to watch. It's Alcaraz versus Draper. Close enough. How's it going, Lexi? Let's go Draper. All right. Boom for Jack. I've got Carlos in 4. Which is not like probably the least exciting prediction I can make because it seems like that's pretty realistic, but it's a prediction. So I'm going to make it realistic. All right. Get off my back. That's the point of a prediction. Thank you very much. Vamos Carlos. Yep. How's it going, Dennis? Go away, Alki. How's it going, Sam? Sam ZK. I've got Carlos in 4. I even think it might be Carlos in 3, but I've got Carlos in 4. Jack, though, I think it's a formidable opponent for Carlos. I thought that the first time I watched them play, underrated match in 2022. 2022 had so many good matches. I remember at the end of that year, I was like, there were so many good matches this year. It was like almost illegal, but that one was also very good. 7-5 in the third, and Alcaraz just narrowly beat Draper, but Draper was close, and he was way below the level he's at today. To say, I mean, that's an understatement of a century. He really did improve a lot. Other times they played, Draper had to retire in Indian Wells. Doesn't really matter. And then last year in Queens, they played and Draper beat Alcaraz in straight sets. Different surface, but Draper's formidable opponent, and he's been, his stamina's been good. He's come back from 2-1 down 3 times so far in this tournament. I don't know if anybody has done that. Come back from 2-1 down their first 3 matches of a slam. Let me know if you have an example of that. It's probably been done, but it's got to be exceedingly rare. It's rare for maybe another 5 sets come for Draper. It could be. He's got to be tired, though, if it does. So I think Alcaraz is hoping for that. Every time I hear the name Jack, my mind on backlist shifts Jack Reacher. I read some Reacher books. Loved also TV series is great. I've heard this show. I haven't read the books or watched it. Yeah, I reckon Carlos got it. Let me know your predictions. Alcaraz's match against Borges in the last round was fantastic, although Alcaraz should not have lost that third set. I saw people all over Twitter being like, oh, Borges playing really, really well. He deserved the third set. Nope. Alcaraz gifted him a set. It was not... Borges played well, but Alcaraz should have done in straight sets. Carlos was playing out of his mind for the majority of that match, and then he kind of dipped in the third set. He needs to step up his game, not give away sets like that. He's got to be on it. If he wants to get to the final, there's a lot of tough players in this draw still, a lot of interesting names, and one of them is Jack Draper. So he can't be gifting away sets. They're currently practicing serves. Win predictor 76% Alcaraz. I think that makes sense. That's pretty good. Pretty accurate. I don't know what the who does the win predictor. Is it just AI? Because I don't think AI would be very good as a win predictor. I think humans are a better judge of predicting matches than AI. Maybe with the help of AI, but I don't know. Anyway. Because AI can't really see the confidence that certain players have, the swagger that they're rocking with and stuff, and I don't know. There's like things that AI can't see. When we're watching matches, we kind of we just understand that some things are true that are positive or negative for players. Like even if you miss, not all errors or unforced errors are the same. For example, you could hit an error that's good. Then how's the AI going to differentiate whether an error was good or bad? You know what I mean? Humanity, it's good that we're complex like that. We can think about things like that. AI is more binary code. Zeros and ones. You know what I mean? I don't know if I know what I mean. We're about to get started here as they practice serves. Jack is the kind of player that can push Alcaraz back behind the baseline, full crowd of people. I've seen a few tweets and a few commentators saying that the crowd is very hyped up for this one already. Like, people are murmuring about themselves. Some people think Alcaraz is on upset alert. Jack did beat Alcaraz the last time they played, but Jack, I reckon, will be rather tired. Jack will want to shorten points and get this done in 3 sets at the very, very, very maximum 4 sets. If this goes 5, it would be a mammoth effort of mammoth efforts for Draper to win this. He'll need this to be, he'll hope it's straight sets, but that's very unlikely. So at least he hopes he gets it done in 4. I reckon it is Alcaraz who's going to get it done in 4. Let's see. I find AI scary. Oh, it is. I've been scared of AI since I was a kid. Draper is the #1 British player now, right? I think so. Yeah, I was going Joe. Earlier used to be Nori, yeah. Well, Nori should have gotten even higher in the ranks, but he was his Wimbledon semifinal didn't count for rankings. That Wimbledon sucked for many players in terms of they didn't get anything for their performance. Like, Kyrgios got to the final, didn't count for his ranking at all. Cameron Norrie got to the semis, didn't count for his ranking at all. David Goffin, who was at that time was struggling, was like 85 in the world, got to the quarters, got 2 points away from getting to the semis, which most people don't remember, on grass. And it didn't count for his ranking at all. So Christian Garin, same thing. So very strange Wimbledon, and it didn't affect, like, none of the players got anything for it, and it was very negative for, like, David Goffin, for example. That's a backhand return into the net from Draper. Getting started here. 15 love for Carlos. 15 love for Carlos Alcaraz. I'm sure we're going to see some great shot making like we did against Borja. Hey, how's it going, Terry? Join in for the blockbuster match. It's going to be an epic. Absolutely. 100%. I think we see the best of Alcaraz when he's tested against players who he doesn't necessarily like playing, like against Yannick, like against Draper. I think that can bring out the best of his game as well. Because he has to find ways to play with more craft in order to kind of give the opponent more looks so that they can't keep dictating hitting huge shots after shots. So I think we'll see. Backhand down the line goes to the backhand of Draper. Backhand of Alcaraz, although Alcaraz might try to, more than that, just try to play solid, elongate the rallies, make Draper move. Maybe he backs his backhand now. Alcaraz, I feel like, has been hitting his backhand about as good as ever recently. So who knows? But either way, I think we're going to see a high-level match if Draper stays fit. 15-all. Absolutely, I'm excited. Yeah. We're going to see some crazy points. Good. I'm excited for it. Forehand inside out. Carlitos with a great forehand inside out, 30-15. When Goff lost the first set, I know Bencic played insane in that first set. I knew Goff was going to win. I literally said to myself, well, Goff is going to win this. And that's nothing against Bencic. I am about as high on her as you'll see anybody. I am high on Bencic, but I just knew Goff was going to come back. I don't even know why, but Bencic always loses in the 4th round of slams. She always gets to the 4th round, plays amazing, and then she always loses in that 4th round, which is kind of impressive. Not that many players get to the 4th round that often, but she can't get to the quarterfinals to save her life. Also, Coco's a comeback. I don't know. She comes back all the time. It matches, fights from behind. So I just kind of knew what was coming. Great effort and tournament from Bencic, though. I hope that there's a big run from her waiting down the later this year, and I kind of think that there's going to be. I hope to see her in the final of a slam for the first time. That would be awesome. I think it's definitely possible. It's crazy that Bencic has never reached the quarterfinals of any slam outside of U.S. Open. That's one of the craziest active stats on the WTA side. It's a double fault from Carlos, 40-30. Draper and straights for me. Oh, God. Even last year when Alcaraz got smoked by Sasha, he didn't get beaten in straights. Alcaraz never loses in straights. Never. Especially at a slam. Well, actually, except if he's playing Botic Van de Zandschulp. Other than Botic Van de Zandschulp, name the last time Alcaraz lost in straights at a slam. Exactly. Thank you. My point has been proven. 1-0 for Alcaraz as he holds. Exactly. Thanks. Thank you very much. Carlos Depp has the edge, yes. Draper's going to be tired, though. He had 5 grueling 5-set back-to-batters. 3, plus he's playing against Carlos. Yep. Alcaraz is a different beast during slams. Exactly. Different beast. I mean, it's obvious. Have you watched Alcaraz at a slam? I don't know. Everybody's forgotten who Alcaraz is. Nobody's forgotten who Alcaraz is. People have forgotten who Alcaraz is at a slam after that Botic loss, and it's stupid. Like genuinely annoying. He won the Channel Slam last year, and he's made the quarterfinals of who knows how many slams up until that Botic loss. And he's like 88% win rate or something. I don't know exactly what it is, but he's like at slams he becomes a different monster. And at his young age, it's especially impressive, but it just is what it is. Like in 3 out of 5, he's just next level. Backhand, that's going to go long, 15 love, and he's consistent. People talk about Alcaraz. He's like, oh, he's so up and down. Yeah, he's flashy, but he's not consistent. At slams, name a more consistent player. It's very hard. There aren't many, if anybody. Forehand, inside in. That's a great winner from Alcaraz, 15-all. Gambardozza beat Goff. I had Coco winning the whole tournament. I still have Coco winning the whole tournament. I don't think so. But Badoza's playing really well, so she can. But very minor chance, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Could happen. But I don't know. A lot of the things that I like about Badoza, I just feel like Goff generally does even better. So I don't know how I feel about that. Goff is really good. Like, that's all I got to say, really. Goff is really good. And even if she's playing bad, she figures it out. And that is why she's a future world number 1. Like, she's just really good, is my point. I'm not saying she's going to win 10-plus slams or something, but she's really good. Like, I just watch her, I'm like, that is a really good player. And she can definitely win this tournament, in my opinion. Although Sabalenka today looked like she's impossible to beat, so who knows? And she's won this tournament the last 6 times it was played. 30-all, Alcaraz trying to look for an early break here in the first set. 15th seed Draper taking on the 3rd seed Carlos. First serve in the net. Kick serve out wide. Forehand, Alcaraz on top of it. Forehand up high from Carlos. Very attackable for Draper. Alcaraz just seemingly playing a little bit more solid. Just not really going for like crazy shots yet. Just playing solid. Now it's a drop shot. That's in the net though. Not a good drop shot. 40-30. First time Alcaraz pulls out his big secret sauce. The big old dropper, but it's a big old dropper in the net. 40-30. Winning 3 sets against him is very difficult. Exactly. 100%. His first U.S. Open slam, though, what tournament was one of the best I watched. So many 5-star. His match against Sinner was an epic. Couldn't agree more. I am a fanatic of that Sinner match. It's my favorite match of all time, in fact. My number 1 favorite match of all time. And it was right after it happened, even though we didn't know both players that much at that point, but something about it was like lightning in a bottle. You only have that kind of a match once every so often. Back in drop shot. Alcaraz runs to it, forehand down the line, forehand to Draper, cross court, back in volley. Draper runs to it, can't get there though. Alcaraz likes it early, and he's liking his level as he gets a 1-0 advantage. Draper should have gone line if he had the ability to do so for sure, but I don't know if it was too difficult of a shot. But Alcaraz was on top of the net waiting for that cross-court shot. And that was too good. He's got the hands. Serve. Draper is first serve in the net. He needs to be making those first serves. The serve needs to be a weapon. People talk about exhaustion. They say that people can't last in long rallies, but exhaustion also makes it so that you might see serves kind of go down in MPHs, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of things that exhaustion does to a player. Deuce number 2 here, starting off. I like Coco too. She's improving every year, plus she's so humble. Yeah. I mean, she's the exact perfect mix of humble, because she is humble. I totally agree with you. She's so very down to earth and very genuine. But no, Coco's perfect. I mean, she's got a great head on her shoulders. Back in line, Draper, yeah, Alcaraz lines up the forehand pass. That forehand line for a passing shot is one of the biggest dangers in the tennis world. Something about passing shots in Spanish men's players, because Alcaraz and Nadal might have the 2 greatest forehand passing shots I've ever seen. They're up there. Backhand cross court goes to the forehand of Draper. Forehand of Alcaraz goes to the forehand of Draper. Backhand of Alcaraz. Cross court. Forehand Draper. Ooh! Hits Alcaraz with an Alcaraz-esque drop shot. Deuce. Very important game for Draper early on here, and he doesn't want to play a lot more of these kind of games. He's probably already pissed that he has to play this kind of a game early on anyway. Yeah, that U.S. Open was crazy, Sam. Perdoza can keep her first serve percentage high. She can beat Goff. Yeah, I don't know who to cheer. I want Draper to win, but I also want to see Alcaraz versus Djokovic for quarterfinal. You want to see Alcaraz versus Djokovic quarterfinal. We all want to see Alcaraz versus Djokovic quarterfinal. Don't kid yourself, Joe. You know, we all want to see that one. You might want to, if you want to see that one. I think a lot of Djokovic fans. There goes my background. I think a lot of Djokovic fans are not rooting. A lot of Draper fans and Djokovic fans are not rooting for Alcaraz. But if you're really wanting to see that Alcaraz versus Djokovic epic, it's going to be hard to not root for one player here. But if you're a Draper fan, you're rooting for Jack all the way. If you're a Djokovic fan, you might not care about Jack. You might not care about Jack Draper, but you're rooting for the guy that's not Carlos Alcaraz. I'm going to fix my background. I'll be right back. Forehand drop shot, very good from Carlos. Oops, exactly. When my background falls apart, I feel like the world is falling apart around me. When I walk around in real life, that background just stays behind me all day. It's really annoying. I can't see if I'm walking in a park and I look behind me, I just see that crazy black background. That's all I see all the time. Serve into the net. Second serve from Carlos. Really annoying. Second serve. Forehand to Draper. Gonna go up high. And I think that just lands in on the line. Believe so. 15 all. But yeah, I still kind of like Coco to get through this tournament. I don't think playing tight matches like that one, especially if she's going to play 6-2, 6-1 sets, is a bad thing for her. She needs to be tested, especially if she's going to beat Sabalenka in the semis. Sabalenka-Goff is not just the most important match of this tournament, in my personal opinion. It's just my opinion. It's not just the most important match of this tournament. I think it might be one of the most, if not the most important matches of the whole season. I think it's a tone setter. I've been saying that since the draw came out. I think that Goff Sabalenka match is an absolute tone setter for the year. Because I think it could be Goff's year. Sabalenka could continue to be a problem. Swiatek is obviously always a problem, but I kind of have a feeling that Swiatek is still going to be like number 2 or 3 in the world, if not number 1, but probably number 2 or 3 or 4. Probably number 2 or 3. But she might have a slightly worse year than she's had the last 2, 3, 4 years. I just have a feeling. I don't know if that feeling will come to be accurate. That's my feeling. I feel like Coco can really be a big player this year, but I think that semifinal against Sabalenka is going to be really big. Back in cross, goes to the forehand of Carlos, cross court, back in Draper, goes to the forehand of Alcaraz down the line, forehand of Draper, that goes into the net. Draper looks like he's just slightly not hitting through his shots as much as usual. It would make sense if he is hella tired. Good thing I know who I'm cheering for. Yeah, exactly. When I was saying that, you ran through my mind. I was like, well, Lexi's not gonna like anything that I'm saying right now, and she's gonna want to fight me, and she's rooting for a player named Jack Draper. She does not want to see Alcaraz versus Djokovic, and I know why. And that's all good. Good serving from Alcaraz. Hits a volley winner, 2-1. Draper by any chance? I doubt it. I doubt it, but I can't read minds. All right, 2-1 for Alcaraz starting off early. I think the early signs are good for Carlos. I'll just say that. By the way, there's a very good chance that I will be at the Dallas Open in early February. I'm feeling quite confident that that's going to be the case. Nothing is confirmed yet, but I think it's exceedingly likely that that's going to be the case. So let me know if you're going to be at the Dallas Open as well, or if you live in Texas or something like that, or near that area. Because if we could meet up, that would be awesome, just to say hey. Say, like, you know, as fans of tennis, and if you watch me and Quality Shot, that would be a lot of fun just to stop by and say hello. So let me know if you guys are going to be there. What's your thoughts on Sinner versus Rune? I don't think it's impossible that Rune wins. I'll say that outright. I don't think it's impossible that Rune wins. I think crazier things have happened. That being said, I think Sinner likes these conditions much more. He's more confident in outdoor hard. I think he doesn't mind playing Rune recently, although their matches are always pretty interesting. Rune's been playing pretty well, actually. People forget that he ended last year fairly okay, too, in Paris, getting to the semifinals. So I think Rune's a little bit maybe being undermined. Whereas, like, Djokovic is playing Lehechka, and people are like, Lehechka is, like, dangerous. I'm like, Djokovic is fine. It's my opinion. We'll see. But in terms of Rune, I think he's being undermined a little bit, to be honest. I'm not going to completely count him out, but I do think that Sinner's going to win in 4 sets. I've got Sinner in 4. I think 3 is possible. I also think 5 is possible, but I'm going to take him in 4. 4 in cross, 4 in drop shot. Draper adds in the net. Let me know your thoughts. But I do think Rune is being undermined a little bit. Love 30. Draper drop shot succeed for him earlier in the match. That time it fails him. Love 30. Draper trying to run around, get some energy and steam going. Clearly still has some sort of belief here that he can cause some damage, which is great. 15-30 is a young guy. I mean, that could be bad or it could be good, but generally, when you've been grinding out on tour and you're at like 22 or older-ish, 21, 22 or older, it starts to become a rather good thing that you have the fresh legs. That's already been adapted to the high-intense asks that happen from professional tennis. I think generally becomes a good thing rather than if you're 38 years old. We'll see how Gale can recover after some battles, but he hasn't had anything too crazy yet. Well, actually, he did in the first round. So, anyway, Gale is incredible, though. Forehand cross goes to the backhand of Alcaraz, goes to the forehand of Draper. Backhand, we're going cross court. Forehand Alcaraz opens up the court. I should have made that down the line. You just feel like that's the kind of shot that he would make on clay, if you know what I mean, like, or in Indian Wells. But a court that doesn't bounce quite as high or doesn't play quite as slow. Just rushed into it and didn't quite have the timing right. Hit into the net. First serve from Draper goes out. Joe, who you got coming through Sinner versus Runa? Who you got coming through here too? Let me know. That's not a good return from Alcaraz off the backhand. He got somewhat close, but it wasn't the right shot. And he did miss it. Deuce. No reason to go for that, really. Just sign of nerves or forcing it a little bit. I don't think you need to go for that. Draper hasn't played the ideal couple of service games here. I feel like if Alcaraz makes him play a little bit, Draper can give him a short ball, and then he can try to pounce on it. That's got to be the game plan, right? That's a big serve down the tee from the Brit, so he gets to game point advantage. Serve Draper, it's in the net. Forehand of Alcaraz goes to the forehand of Draper. That goes cross court. Alcaraz near. That's the first shot I've ever seen Alcaraz not go for. It's a historic moment. The reason Alcaraz did actually nearly go for it, but then he realized that if he goes for it, he's going to fall on the ground because he's gonna stumble. It's 2-2 here. How dare Alcaraz not go for a shot? 2-2. He had a crazy streak going there of 30,000 points in a row played where he goes for every single shot. Runs after every ball. Serve coming here from the Spaniard. Sinner in close 4 sets. All right. Yeah, I have the same take as you do then. I've got Sinner in close 4 as well. I do think it will be a close 4. I'll say 7-5 Sinner in the 4th set. It's a double fall from Alcaraz. Not so good. Love 15. I reckon it's been kind of a slow start. Start. Like, they've only just started, but mildly slow start from both. Nothing too high level, honestly, yet from either. But we're only just getting started. Love 15. Serve down the tee, backhand slice, goes way up to the forehand of Alcaraz. Just terrible for him, misses it wide. It's mishit, love 30. It's too easy. Overthought it. But it's like that backhand return line, just, I don't know. 100% Draper. I think we're talking about the Sinner Runa match at this point. 3-0. Are you sticking with that prediction, Lexi? It's looking good at the moment. If Alcaraz keeps missing crazy forehands out that he would almost always make. I do wonder what your real prediction is. It might be that, but Draper did win in straights in Halle, or in Queens, I guess. So that's going to go out from Draper, 15-30. This is a really interesting tournament, by the way. Every player left is super interesting. Like Lerner Tien winning that match against Medvedev and then following it up with a straight set win over Mute. First set, 12-10 tiebreak. Very impressive. Gael Monfils suddenly in his prime, freaking 38 years old, beating Taylor Fritz, who's like the second best player in the world on hard courts at the moment, or most consistent anyway. Pretty crazy stuff. That's a double fall from Alcaraz. Not good. 1540. Something that's been locked in recently is Alcaraz's serve. So right now, it's not that locked in. Very little of his game seems very locked in at all the early stages. Like I said, people were saying Alcaraz is just, Borges played too well. No set where Alcaraz is playing his best, Borges can beat him no matter how well Borges is playing. And I don't mean that in a way that's offensive to Borges because he's a great player. But Alcaraz, when he's playing well, there are very few players that you should just be like, oh, Alcaraz lost the set. That's fine. The other player played too well. What I notice is something went wrong with Carlos. Not all the time, but I noticed something went wrong with Alcaraz. He didn't finish that match the way that he needed to. Because the serious thing, he's one of these great players that takes sets very seriously. It's a break point here for Jack. Forehand inside out goes to the forehand of Carlos. Backhand cross goes to the forehand of Carlos. Cross court backhand of Jack goes to the forehand of Carlos. Down the middle, Draper's there. Oh, he should have made it. Deuce. Alcaraz is barely hanging on, surviving. So my point is that Alcaraz has been playing really well in this tournament, but I don't know if that's a sign of lack of confidence or what it is on this court or what it is, but he needs to get that down and really lock in. Big roar there from Carlitos. Serve goes to the backhand of Draper. Serve from Carlos. Inside out, backhand of Carlos goes to the backhand of Draper, forehand of Carlos, great forehand, backhand of Alcaraz cross goes to the forehand of Draper, backhand Carlos again, even bigger, cross court forehand drop shot, Draper might be there, no, it's too good. That is vintage Carlos Alcaraz, gets a 3-2. Crowd is on their feet. That forehand exploding into that deuce side corner is fantastic. Good stuff as he gets a 3-2. Let me know your guys' hot takes on who's getting through that Lerner Tien quarter. Tien, Monfils, Sonego, or Shelton. I really do think Monfils is going to get through it. But Lerner Tien is interesting. I just reckon Sonego's not going to. The other three players there, I really think have a pretty decent chance of doing so. And they're all just as different as you can possibly imagine. Like all three of those players. Shelton is now in his fourth year on tour or whatever. Tien literally just arrived. Monfils has been here for 20 years. And then you've got Sonego, who's even different from all of those guys. He's been on tour for 10 years, but not as long as Gael Monfils has. So you couldn't have asked for four different players, but all of them have been dangerous and very good. I mean, Sonego's been playing out of his mind too. If you saw that crazy shot he hit against Wawrinka in the first round, he's been playing well and then taking out Fonseca. So all those guys have been playing well. Forehand down the middle goes to the forehand of Draper, big into the forehand of Alcaraz. Forehand of Alcaraz down the line, that is an absolute weapon from Carlos. Draper just can't quite deal with it with his own forehand, left 15. Shelton's going under the radar. I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more, honestly. I thought against Musetti, he still had even more to give than what he gave. It was enough against the guy who's beaten him the last 2 times, but I feel like he's got even more to, like, I don't think he was quite at his best, but I don't even mean that in a bad way. Like, he can build up to something even bigger, especially if he's tested. So I totally agree with you. I think he's one of the players that I can at least imagine kind of winning this tournament. I don't think that's going to happen, but I can imagine it. I think he's going under the radar as well. He played a fantastic first round against Nakashima that really impressed me. And I agree that he's going under the radar. Tommy Paul, always under the radar. Both of those Americans, I really think, are going under the radar. Lerner Tien, too, in a way. Like, all the American players are kind of going under the radar. But I agree with you about Shelton. I really do. Shelton's one of the guys that I've got my eye on big time. I think the winner of that Shelton-Monfils round of 16 go to the semis. I guess I'd bet on Shelton, but I think not by a lot, though. And I really think Monfils is a contender for the semifinal spot. Shelton could do something against Yannick, too. I don't think that will necessarily happen, but it's not impossible. But I don't think that will happen. Backhand cross goes to the forehand of Carlos, comes to net. Draper at the backhand. It's right in the corner. Perfect shot from Carlos. Just really cut down the options for Draper for where he can hit on the court. Alcaraz 8 for 9 on net points so far. And Draper is just 0 for 1. But already 9 net points by Carlos early on. Is just the perfect volley. I mean, sometimes you don't want to hit a volley that deep in the court, but in that specific situation, it was a perfect shot. That's his first serve that goes wide from Jack Draper. Second serve. Backhand of Carlos goes to the forehand of Draper. Cross goes to the backhand of Carlos. Forehand of Draper. Backhand of Carlos down the line. Backhand of Draper. So the forehand of Draper. Forehand. Backhand of Carlos. Goes to the forehand of Draper. That's going to go wide. Great play from Alcaraz. Picked up his level to 4-2. Now let's see if he can keep that foot on the gas pedal. Good stuff. Good use of variety. Good use of just good movement and footwork around the court. Moving forward and also side to side as well. He's been moving really well in this match so far, but that is the first thing you'll expect out of any Alcaraz match. And he's been playing, he played smart in that game, mixing it up quite nicely and hitting some big shots on the way. 15 love. See, it's a 209 kilometer an hour serve. It doesn't get that much faster from Carlos. Tommy Paul is always under the radar. That dude's been playing crazy, and he likes these courts, and nobody's paying any attention to him. I always say that nobody ever pays attention to Tommy Paul. Swear, Tommy Paul is like the most under the radar player I've ever seen. It's crazy. I don't really understand why. Just people are obsessed with not talking about Tommy Paul. I don't really get it, but he's gonna prove everybody wrong at some point. Or I don't want to prove everybody wrong is the right way to put it, but why is nobody talking about him? Just prove everybody wrong that they should be talking about him. It's going to happen at some point. Everybody's going to be like, oh. Backhand goes long cross court, 40 love. I'm backing myself behind Paul. We need to change the Steph emoji for a Draper emoji. If he wins straight sets like Lexi is for seeing, Psychic Lexi is if Draper wins 3-0, then we'll change the Steph emoji to Jack. Because at that point, we have no option, really. Serve from Alcaraz. This is the forehand Draper. Great shot down the line. Off the return. It's a return winner. Oh, what a backhand return. Backhand return winner and a forehand return winner from Jack. Good stuff. Great stuff. Backhand of Draper's return. Forehand of Alcaraz goes to forehand of Draper. Forehand volley Alcaraz, too good. Simple in the end for Alcaraz, but Draper did show some impressive stuff in that game, 5-2. It's starting to feel like Alcaraz taking control of the court and moving to net quite a bit, and then Draper just not being able to really run as much as he would want is going to prove to be tough. I don't know. Draper in the movement aspect and lateral movement aspect, especially moving quickly, could be a problem. Excuse me. So Alcaraz cutting off those angles and really making Draper run laterally very quickly, that might be the game plan here. I don't know if that's a bad one. I mean, Alcaraz trying to just rally with Draper and just get into long rallies, I don't know if that's the best thing for Alcaraz. But if he can test Draper on the quick movements, side to side, that might be the game plan here. And that could be a good one. That really could be a good one. That could be tiring for Draper in itself. I don't know if that is the game plan, but it's happening a lot already. So. Excuse me. 15 love for Draper. It's coughing season, I'm telling you that. I'm going to try to not cough in the mic, though. Dios mío, Draper. I said the other day that anyone over 25 won't win any more slams. Anyone over 25 won't win any more slams? I mean, if I could take the under on that, then I will. No, I don't think that's true. We'll see, but I don't think that's true. For me, I'm backing Casper to win a French at some point. So that's the first thing that comes into my head. I'm backing Casper to win a French at some point. Other than that, yeah, I mean, I'm backing Medvedev to win another hard court slam, even though I know that right now it's just so hard to even think about that. Although I don't know. I mean, his serve is like so bad now compared to what it was that maybe he won't do that. But it's not, I mean, like, I don't know. Against Sam Rej, his serving wasn't that bad, I felt like. Sam Rej played out of his mind, and the rest of Medvedev's game at times just wasn't working that well. But his serve wasn't that bad, I felt like. Good serve from Draper out wide, 30 all. I don't know. Maybe Medvedev is like me lying to myself and giving myself hope, but I still think Medvedev can be a factor. Comes into US Open with a vengeance. Gets the serve back. Gets some confidence. Doesn't have to play Alcaraz. Suddenly, it's prime Medvedev time. I reckon it would happen in New York. I know he's had his time in Australia, but realistically, I think US Open's got to be where it is. And it's not just because he's won the US Open before, but I don't know. I think something about the US Open, it just fits him more. Like both times he got to the final in Australia, obviously lost those heartbreakers, but I don't know. It just he was very close in both of those runs, also losing before that. Oh, what a point. What a pass from Draper. Shot of the match so far as he hits a forehand cruncher through the court. Pouncing on the ball. Some marvelous hand skills right through the racket of Carlos Alcaraz, taking out his strings, plucking them out one by one with that ferocious hit, 5-3, as Jack Draper sprints his way to 5-3. I forgot about this stat. Carlos Alcaraz is 54-1 in Grand Slam level after taking the opening set. Only lost to Mikael Ymer at the Australian Open 2021. Basically, he's never lost after winning the first set at Slam. At that time, he was like 14 years old. Basically, he hasn't lost after winning the first set at Slam. Is basically what that means. That's going to change at some point, but that is one of the crazier stats that still exists. I forgot that that's still a stat. Because he lost to Botic in straights. He didn't win a single set, let alone the first set. At Wimbledon and French, he won both of those. In Australia, he lost the first set against Zverev. That's the problem, though. When he loses, sometimes he doesn't lose that pretty, Alcaraz, to be honest. So he doesn't often win the first set and then lose the match, but anyway. It's a fourth double fault already for Carlos. Draper looking determined to get something done in this game, 15-all. There's a reason for that. Like I said, he wants 3 or 4 sets. It's going to be a huge motivation for that. Serve from Alcaraz. That's another double fault from Carlos. Alcaraz and Goff are getting me today with these double faults. Alcaraz looking to follow up Goff and hit a million double faults and still win the match, but 5 double faults in one set of tennis is not ideal for Alcaraz. He is still working with that new serving position. Alcaraz barely escaping the serve clock there. Drop shot. Draper can't get there. It's definitely a strategy to make Draper sprint quickly. Not just move him side to side. That's not really the goal. Drop shots and also net rushing and cutting off Draper's ground strokes and making him run with his volleys, really, as far as I can tell. That's what he's been doing a lot of so far. Alcaraz. Backhand slice goes to the forehand of Alcaraz. Forehand Carlos. Needs to make that forehand down the line. Misses in the net. Got right to the top of the net. 30-40. Carlos still has a 100% record in Grand Slam finals. Ridiculous. He's like Federer. Federer won his first 7. Or like Richard Sears, if you know, you know. Do you still think it's Alki versus Sinner? Yes. 30-40. Serve Alcaraz. It's going to go out. I still think Alcaraz is going to show that he's somebody to not mess with at these courts. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Because the draw has become quite interesting. Backhand slides in the net. That's a poor game. That's a poor game at the end of the day from Carlos. He needs to make that forehand down the line initially, and then that slice just messed up. Alcaraz doesn't necessarily like these hot, humid, sunny, fast conditions. It's not necessarily his favorite. You see that with a couple of those shots. Not good. There's always second time. I think Sinner will reach the final, but not sure about Alcaraz. Yeah, I mean, that's a good call. We'll see about Novak, too. Very hard to beat him in the Grand Slam finals. Novak had to play out of his skin to win the Olympic gold. Well, 110%. Novak had to freaking become 2011 version of Novak that was dismantling Rafa and Roger in 49 matches in a row. and playing like he freaking invented the sport itself, and like he was an AI sent down to torture Fadal fans, and raise his hands at the U.S. Open against Federer, and is this freaking GOAT personified. So, yeah. So basically, Novak became that version of himself again to win the gold against Alcaraz in straights. That's one of the all-time matches, that one. It's always second time. I said to Anthony at the AO Finals that Carlos wouldn't win tournament till March. I'm sticking with that. Big call, but we'll see. I picked Carlos to peak at the U.S. Open. I don't know necessarily he's going to peak at the start of the year as much as he usually does. But that might not be such a bad thing in the scope of Alcaraz's career. He might want to start getting used to peaking in the late season as well. Draper kind of sounds to me like a person employed in the fabric business. That's his calling, but his calling is that, but he's just trying things out with tennis first. Draper with a serve winner, 15 love. He's just experimenting at the moment. 15 love. And other weird Anthony quotes that sound strange out of context. Serve goes out. Second serve. $15 Both guys not crushing it in the second serve percentage department at the moment. I'll just say it that way. $45 minutes into this one. We're on serve. Great forehand, cross court. That's why Jack gets paid the big bucks. Great racket head speed and control on that forehand swing. Just so much pace on the shot, and it comes easy to him. And great RPMs as well. First serve, that's in the net. I saw that Iga Swiatek hits above average RPMs. No, hits higher RPMs on her shots on average than the average man hits RPMs on his shots. She's the only woman in the draw, if I saw correctly, that does that. That's crazy that she does that, just to be clear. Because the RPMs differential between men and women is pretty noticeable. The fact that Swiatek is above the average for men's is like kind of crazy. But Swiatek is just like a freak athlete. Yeah, how's it going, Max? Good to see you. Sam went to the doctor. I feel like a pair of curtains. He said, pull yourself together. Joe, we're gonna block anybody in the comments that makes a pun that's that. Like, that's that. If you make that pun specifically, you're gonna get blocked. So let's not test the waters with puns. It's enough. We had fun with that one comment. It's over. Great ace there from Draper. Gets to 40-30. Backhand. Ooh, what a shot from Draper. 5-5. Both these guys, big talents. I still reckon that that shot from Alcaraz was out. Anyway, Draper wins the point, and he wins the game. 5-5. Ties it up. Alcaraz was serving for it. Was a few points away, and now it's Jack who's tied himself up. We had fun, but it's enough. It's enough. Serve from Alcaraz down the tee, forehand to Draper, goes to the forehand of Alcaraz. Back in cross court, goes to the forehand of Alcaraz, forehand to Draper. Applied to the backhand of Alcaraz, highest level in the match so far from Jack at the very least, as we get to love 15. And now it enters into the minds of the people watching, everybody. Could this be an upset alert match? Time will tell. Jack did beat Alcaraz last time they played. The head-to-head is 2-1 for Carlos. One of those meetings was a retirement from Jack. So I basically see this as 1-1, to be honest. I don't count their Indian Wells one that much. but you can count it however you want. That's just kind of how I'm counting it because that makes sense to me. But most people will think it's 2-1. That's fine. Forehand cross goes to four. It's not a good shot from Alcaraz, right? He missed it wide, I think. Just. Yeah, he missed it just wide. Love 30. He's going for too much. He's like forcing at times here. Love 30. It was 5-2 for Alcaraz. Suddenly we're at 5-5. Love 30. I don't know. Alcaraz was doing well starting off. He isn't coming to net anymore. Draper is hitting with a little bit more authority, which is good for him. I don't know. Suddenly become very interesting, but Alcaraz has kind of made this a nightmare for himself, and that's why, again, I bring up that Borges match. Alcaraz should have had this first set done, and now he's still struggling out there in a box fight. 15-30 hits a big serve there, his biggest of the match so far at 132 miles per hour, which is actually faster than Draper's fastest serve by a lot. Alcaraz, you are indeed a serve bot. Big serve out wide, and that goes out off the return from Mr. Jack Draper. Gets the 30 all. Arc, hello, Arc. 30 all. Backhand cross goes to the forehand of Jack. Forehand of Alcaraz goes to... Oh, no! Draper had the forehand lined up. He had a shank. Haven't seen that big of a shank since I've seen Tsitsipas hit his last backhand. Last time I saw a shank like that, I saw Tsitsipas hitting his backhand. His one-hander. That thing went way up. 40-30 for Alcaraz. Trying to, at the very least, play a tiebreaker in the set, if nothing else. Serve out wide. It's going to be out. Another serve coming here from Alcaraz. I believe it was a let. Watching with this set. Alcaraz on tees. You could just tell that was an important game. I love 30. Gets a 6-5. Rolls ahead. This tiebreaker, if we get it, is going to be incredibly interesting. So I think. So let's see. Trust in Lexi 3-0 loading. I don't doubt it. Listen, Lexi, I've seen it happen before. I'm privy to it. Lexi has made crazy predictions. Crazy. And then suddenly I'm watching it unfold before my eyes as if she knew it the whole time. So don't count Lexi's freaking crazy, weird, strange calls out because I've had enough of that. Who's the crowd supporting most? They always love Alcaraz. Every crowd ever loves Alcaraz. He's got the Federer effect. It doesn't matter where Alcaraz is playing, the crowds love him. So I got to go with Carlos, but only if they were playing at Wimbledon, the crowd would be slightly more for Draper. Slightly. Only slightly. All right, Draper to serve here. Alcaraz trying to book a quarterfinal spot. Forehand goes cross. It's going to go long, low 15. Like it has been mentioned, Alcaraz is absolutely deadly after winning the first set at a slam. All of the greats are. You give them that little bit to work with, that confidence, that lead, it's very hard to come back, even from one set up. Hard enough to win 3 sets against a great anyway, but when you have to win 3 sets out of 4, and they have that early lead advantage, they got into a good rhythm, it's going to be hard. Forehand drop. Draper's there. Ooh, nearly gets it. Good hustle from Jack, but love 30 for Alcaraz. I love Draper Alcaraz matches. Let me be the first to say that I love these matches. I've enjoyed it. I enjoyed it at Queens. I enjoyed it at Basel. Indian Wells doesn't count. Anyway, my point is that these are fun. I really like watching these two go head to head. I think that they're both going to win some matches down the road. I don't think this is going to be an easy head to head for Alcaraz. If I had to be a fortune teller here. Forehand squash shot goes to the forehand of Draper, forehand of Alcaraz. It goes out. 15-30. Is Draper going to be able to escape love 30 now? Let's see. By the way, guys, thank you for joining the stream. You are in the right place. Unless you're not, then you may go. But this is a fun stream for Draper Alcaraz. Serve down the tee. Forehand. That's going to go long. 15-40. And please don't forget to like and subscribe as well. I bet 3-0 Alcaraz. How Draper can even stand after 3 matches in 5 sets. Well, these guys are the greatest athletes in the world, DeJohn. So, and this guy, he's not 38-year-old Monfils, you know, like he's got some legs, but yeah, I don't, it's not going to be easy. Back and cross, forehand. Oh, the fact that Alcaraz even got a racket on that is bananas, but great point from Jack, though, covering the net. Set point number 2, 30-40. It's going to be harder getting into the tiebreaker having a set point. The fact that Alcaraz even got a racket on that is bananas, but it's going to be harder knowing that he had 2 set points. Alcaraz somehow gets that serve back. That's insane. Alcaraz is so clutch in the points where it matters. That's what really makes him stand out. Back and cross goes the forehand of Alcaraz for pass, and you just know he was going to make it because that is Carlos Alcaraz defined. Look him up in the mirror. Look him up in the Merriam-Webster, if I can get the name out, dictionary. You'll see that passing shot because Alcaraz shows up in the big moment, 7-5. But now I am worried. No. I mean, I said 3-1 for Alcaraz. I think can Carlos take the break point? Yes. Yep. He did get it. Yeah, I mean, you just knew he was going to make that forehand down the line as soon as the shot before that one happened. 56 minutes of play. Not an easy set for Alcaraz by any stretch of the imagination. So we'll see what happens in the second set. Alcaraz definitely has the momentum, though. This was a close one. It was, yeah. I reckon 3-0 is not a bad pick, to be fair. I said Alcaraz in 4. I said maybe 3, though. I actually feel more confident that Rune is going to take off a set off of Yannick in their match than Draper off of Alcaraz. Part of it is the legs that I don't know how much Draper has in the gas tank, but we'll see. I don't think he's going to fall apart completely, but that could age badly. I think people look too much into Draper beating Alcaraz at Queens. Fair take. People do that often, but I think personally, I was really excited after I saw Draper play Alcaraz in Basel, even though it is conditions that Draper likes more, to be fair, which is, I think, fair. But I don't know. I just feel like Draper has a game to compete with Alcaraz. He even made that set close. Potentially, if Draper had more in the gas tank, I think Draper could have won that set. So disagree, but your take might age well. Draper might not ever beat Alcaraz again. Who knows? But I personally, I reckon that's not the case. We'll see. No jinxing of Draper, please. Damn it. Fair. Alcaraz didn't want to wear himself out before Wimbledon. Same thing happened last year, you know, where he struggled at times in the grass lead-ups. Nearly lost to Rinderknecht in the first round of Halle. So he can struggle in the grass lead-ups. But yeah, I don't know. I still reckon that was quite a good win for Jack, though. Medical timeout for Jack Draper coming here. Just hope that Jack can finish off the match. That's the first thing. I do think Draper is a slam winner in waiting, but not quite yet. Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think he's winning a slam this year, but I think Wimbledon is going to be his eventually. Wimbledon and maybe U.S. Open. I don't think he's going to win Australia or the French at any point, but I could see him winning one Wimbledon and one U.S. Open. Kind of take after Andy Murray a little bit. When that will be, I don't know. 2027, 2026, something like that, possible for Wimbledon. We'll see. I don't like what I'm seeing. Draper should have brought this set to a tiebreaker 100%. Yeah, Alcaraz is playing around too much. Draper should have served out that 5-6 game. Or broke Alcaraz at 5-5, honestly, even more than that. So I would also be disappointed in Jack. Lexi, who do you have winning the women's side? Is it Saba? Or is it somebody else? I've got Coco. I've had Coco since the start. Rocking with Coco. I think she's going to win both hardcourt slams this year. But we'll see. I don't know. I just kind of hope Jack doesn't come back on court and just call it or something. But he didn't look that bad. I don't blame him for taking the MTO. Extra break after that grueling first set is kind of a good thing for him anyway. So I kind of feel like that might be what it is more than anything. Like if he needs to win the second set 100%. There's literally no universe where he loses the second set and then wins the match. It just doesn't exist. By the way, Alcaraz laughing with his with Ferrero and his coaches right by the side of the court, which is good to see. Keeping Alcaraz loose. Alcaraz and Ferrero is the greatest coaching partnership in the history of tennis. Maybe outside of like Richard Williams with Serena and Venus or Tony Nadal with Nadal with Rafa. Outside of that, I can't possibly think of a better coaching partnership than Alcaraz and Ferrero. Like literally, I think it's the best one ever. Something about it is just perfect. Ferrero's worked with Alcaraz since he was like 13, former world number 1, and it's obvious how big of an effect Ferrero has had on Carlos at every stage, at every part of his game, part of his life. They're so close, it seems like, just even outside of the tennis. Carlos's brother, right next to the court as well, who sometimes is his hitting partner. and has been a ATP pro. That's got to loosen Carlos up too, which is great. It's good stuff. I love it. Yo, what the hell? Paul wins 6-1, 6-1, 6-1. Jesus Christ. I wasn't following that at all. What am I saying about Tommy Paul? He is an underrated beast. How many players have ever lost just 3 games in the 4th round of a Australian Open? Also, ADF, what are you doing? I can just imagine Fokina like on the ground for half of the match, just diving after every ball for no reason, and just slipping and falling. But diving after every shot. I don't know what happened, but Tommy Paul has been playing out of his wits. I always say Tommy Paul is underrated and under the radar. I always say it. Does Paul play Humbert or Z next? Yes. He's 2-0 against Zverev. I'm just putting that out there. He could beat him. I'm so pissed that Rybakina is injured. Rybakina's always freaking injured. Is my twin out already? Did she withdraw? Or what? What are y'all saying to me? Because if that is, I'm gonna be heartbroken. Because she always does that. I actually would be really disappointed. So I'm kind of hoping not. But what do you mean? What are you guys trying to tell me? Should, woulda, coulda, twin Reba or Coco. If they're not on the same draw. Okay. She hasn't pulled out, but has really, really bad abdominal pain. Okay, so it's just the injury from the last match. Hopefully that doesn't affect her too much. I like the picks, though. Reba and Coco, I do think, are kind of low-key playing the best tennis of the tournament. Sabalenka today probably as well. But all right, Alcaraz back to serve. Draper back on court. We're starting off the second set. So to be clear, Rybakina did not pull out, which is good. Because that girl is always pulling out of stuff. Serve here from Alcaraz. Goes into the forehand of Draper. Forehand of Alcaraz. That's in the net. Love 15 for Draper. Do you guys know who Andrew Santino is? I went to his stand-up show the other day. First stand-up show I've ever been to. It was awesome. I was laughing out loud the whole time. Let me know if you guys know who that is. Famous comedian, podcaster, Bad Friends on YouTube. But that guy, he was so funny. It's amazing. Stand-up comedians are like always overlooked. It's one of the hardest and like bravest things you can do. That's unbelievable from Alcaraz. 15 all. What a volley. I mean, that is the kind of shot that comes from a guy who's going to change the sport completely. That's ridiculous. 15 all. Because he does it so casually. He's like, this is my baseline. My baseline is things that you've never seen on tennis court before. When you see that, and some guy can casually just raise the bar high like Federer did in 2003 and say, I'm going to play the game differently and better than anybody ever has, or try to. You know, something special is happening right before your eyes in real time. Great depth off the forehand from Alcaraz. That forehand's looking really good, even in the first set. Draper nearly with a pass, but hits it wide. Draper just a step too slow here. I kind of feel for him. If he wasn't a step too slow, this match would be like remarkably competitive. But it feels like Alcaraz is in charge. And to me, it's a little bit obvious that Draper is like just like a quarter of a step too slow, but it's enough. That forehand from Alcaraz is really good right now. Really like the way it's looking. That serve is paying off too, the way it's changed. That's the bad shot from Alcaraz off the backhand into the net. He's hit a couple of slices into the net. It's like he's traded to have like a remarkably good forehand for like a really bad backhand. Even though he's been hitting his backhand pretty well recently, I feel. I don't know. Paul 6-1, 6-1, 6-1 is ridiculous. If you were watching that, let me know what the hell happened. Because that's really remarkable. I really wonder how many times in history somebody's lost just 3 games. Somebody's won just 3 games in the second week of a slam. Backhand. Oh! Wow, that goes back on Draper's side, 40-30. Net cord deciding the match here. Or deciding the game here, I meant to say. That stayed up in the air forever. Bad luck for Jack. That could have gone either way. Almost hit the net again on the way down. 40-30. Alcaraz serving. Served on tee, back in Draper. Forehand of Alcaraz, missed it wide. Deuce. I gotta go for earlier streams. I'm getting I'm getting tired. I'm not gonna lie, but Australia doesn't have earlier streams because their matches are freaking, all of them are at 3 in the morning in my time. Is what it is. Whatever. Serve goes to the forehand of Draper. Lob way up high. It's gonna go just long. Advantage to Carlos. Forehand Draper, that's in the net. 1-0 for Carlos. You just hope that Draper can keep on playing here, but so far it's been competitive, actually. 1-0 for Carlos. Does Paul play Humbert or Z next? Well, we don't know yet. We don't know yet who he plays. We're going to wait for the winner of that one, but the answer is going to be Zverev. Zverev's going to beat Humbert. Unfortunately, Zverev's going to beat Humbert. Artur Feast would have had a better chance to beat Zverev. I actually think Feast would have had a shot, but as I expected, Humbert took out Feast. It's annoying. If I really wanted to see that Feast Zverev match against Humbert, I feel like Zverev's got it. Here's what it is. Tommy Paul really could beat Zverev. I predicted that he wouldn't, but I definitely think it's possible. And if he beats Zverev, listen, Pandora's box is open. Tommy Paul and Ben Shelton are going under the radar. All I gotta say, both of those guys are going under the radar. I'm not just saying that because I'm like biased American or whatever. I'm really not. Like, both those guys are playing so well in this tournament. Like, Tommy Paul in his last round, 3-set win over, who was it? Carvalho Baena, I think, but he was playing so well. And Ben Shelton, he's been impressive all tournament. Like, those guys, nobody's talking about them, but they're playing mighty well, and they've had success here in the past, which I always look for past success in specific tournaments. That's one of my main things that I look at, because I think that that's hugely overlooked. It's like the main thing to look at, but people don't look at it quite enough. They do, but they don't take as much weight into it as they should. It's like almost, it's such a big factor. How well people succeed in specific tournaments, not just specific courts or conditions. Like, oh, this is a fast hard court, they're going to do well. Like, that's not always the case. Like, look at success in specific tournaments. That's going to be a very good indicator of a lot of things. It's going to be out from Draper, 30 all. How's it going, Stahill? Good to see you. Hello from the US, and good to see you. Good to have you in here. Do I have a guess? Are you rooting for Draper here? I'm just guessing because if Draper could get this in 4 sets, 3 5-setters, then a 4-setter, for him to take Novak on in the next round, potentially, if Novak can beat Lehechka, which he can, I'd expect that you would want to see that play out rather than Alcaraz versus Novak. That's going to be out off the back end from Draper. 30-40. Draper's got 2 legs, but right now it looks like he's He's right to just like looks like he's got none left. Break point for Carlos. Alcaraz rocking a really good kit, I feel like, for this Australian Open. I really dig his Nike kit this time around. I think it's his best yet for a slam, honestly. So I'm hoping Nike can keep it up rather than the weird outfits that they've had at times for players. It's like this weird abstract stuff. I don't know. It's fine. Not even abstract. It's just weird. Backhand cross goes to forehand to Draper. Backhand Alcaraz big. That's going to go long. Backhand's not been amazing, Alcaraz's. Forehand's been very good. Backhand hasn't quite been there. I think Humbert can make it a close match. I'm like the only guy then who just doesn't think that's going to happen. Faison said the same thing, and I just don't agree. But listen, Joe, you could be right. I just don't agree, though. Tian and Sonego, oh no, going for Yugo too. I hope so. Is there a major upset today? Not yet, right? Tian and Sonego, yeah. Who are you rooting for in that one? Do you like both, or who doesn't like Lerner Tian though, right? Like he just seems like a pretty likable dude. Beat Medvedev at his own freaking game. Very impressive how he pulled that out in the 5th set. The way he showed up there. Backhand cross goes to the forehand of Alcaraz. Backhand. That's Draper's problem, is that Alcaraz is getting to his backhand too much, and Draper's not really being able to hit the backhand down the line to the backhand of Alcaraz. So that's really Draper's problem. If he was able to redirect the backhand line better and was just a step faster to these shots, had a little bit more energy in the gas tank, then we'd have a match on our hands, maybe making a few more first serves, have the MPHs up on the first serve. But instead of that, we have what we're seeing in front of us. Also, if Draper is able to attack the return a little bit more, especially in that first set, the middle of that first set, but is what it is. Draper's made it relatively competitive, even though now it's not competitive. But to this point, it was fairly competitive. And I think now Alcaraz is going to run away with it. I don't remember the name of who you are, but you betted somebody in the chat betted 3-0 for Alcaraz. I'd say that's exceedingly likely at this point. Like exceedingly likely. If it's not 2-0 with a retirement, which I hope doesn't happen. Oh, forehand is huge from Alcaraz. Blazing forehand. I saw fire coming off the racket. Nuts. What a shot. He liked that one. That came out of nowhere. What a blistering forehand. 150 kilometers an hour. What's that? I was waiting for that. How fast is that? That was crazy. It must be 100 miles plus. 150 kilometers. That's got to be nuts. 150 kilometers to miles. Oh, I thought, okay, 93. Anyway, that was crazy. Out of nowhere. Blazing fast from the Spaniard. Serve down the tee is very good. 3-0. Alcaraz halfway through to the finish line. Love to see Jack still fighting here. How's it going, Alcaraz fan? Good to see you. If there is, it will be Hugo. We'll see. We'll see if Hugo can upset. If past successes are so important, I mean, how in the world could you have Mahac beating Novak? If past successes are so important, how could you have Mahac beating Novak? Yeah, I mean, yes. But just because one factor is so important doesn't mean that it's the only factor that suddenly matters and you overwhelm it against all other factors. The reason that I personally had Mahac over Novak is that Mahac had beaten Novak last year. And he beat Novak last year. The first time they played on outdoor hard courts, it was 7-6 in the third. Mahac has been playing extremely well recently, like extremely well, even against top players. Beat Alcaraz in straights last year on outdoor hard courts. And also, if you're talking about past success, Mahac had past success last year at this tournament. If you're talking about recent results at hard court slams, Novak just lost in the second round of the US Open against a guy around the same ranking as Mahac. So logically, it's not insane to say that there could be an upset. It's not like Novak has never lost in the second round or third round of the Australian Open. He's not really quite Rafa at Roland Garros. He lost to Isman, he lost to Chung. Now, and he lost to Sinner last year almost in straight sets. Now, it seems like Djokovic is in a place where when he's fully healthy in himself, it seems like he's proven that he is the guy in Australia. So I think that that's fair. But in terms of past successes, you have to take in so many factors when you're predicting things. So that's why I said Mahac. I felt like Novak is currently trying different things out. Hindsight's 2020. But Novak played much better in that match than I expected him to. He really brought out his kind of prime level. What about Novak? Yikes. Yeah, Alcaraz and then beast mode. 100%. Beast mode now. In a slam, it's required to have at least 2 upsets in a day. Love it. 100%. We got to keep that excitement up. Love 30, 0-3, love 30. Alcaraz actually is, yeah, he's playing in beast mode now. I agree with you. 100%. It's one of the quicker first serves for Jack. It would be nice if he could keep those MPHs up. 15-30. Serve out wide. Back end of Alcaraz goes to the back end of Draper. Forehand of Alcaraz. Up high. That's going to go out. 30-all. I believe Alcaraz will destroy this guy Draper, and in quarters he'll destroy Djokovic. He's not going to destroy Djokovic. Okay, I'm going to say that outright. I could be wrong, but I am not. He's not going to destroy Djokovic, okay? He might beat him. He's not going to destroy him. Because it's Djokovic in Australian Open. But I think there's another question. What are my thoughts? He's not going to destroy Djokovic. What are your thoughts about Alcaraz versus Djokovic quarterfinal? Who will win according to you? Alcaraz, in my opinion. I think Alcaraz beats Djokovic, but I think it's going to be like an epic 5-set match. And I think it's going to be, I think potentially it could be their second most memorable match, only behind Wimbledon. And that says a lot because their Cincinnati and Olympics finals were something else. But I think that this could be like, it could potentially be their last like ceiling high epic match that they play, like all-time epic match that they play. It could be. Novak's getting older. Alcaraz is only getting better. It could be that. That's kind of my feeling. I feel like we might get that, like an all-time good 5-set match. But I think Alcaraz is going to win it, kind of like Wimbledon. Back and cross is very good from Alcaraz. By the way, Madrid wasn't half bad either. Their matches are just something else. But yeah, that's my feeling. I think that's going to happen if we get it. We'll see. Draper doesn't win the third set. I'll donate 5. Well, I appreciate it, Joe. Draper, tank it. No, I'm kidding. I agree, Anthony. Hell yeah. Draper, what are you doing? Go away, Aki. Want to set at least. Oh, no. Lexi, I love it when you spam the comments with your wild watching the match stream of consciousness. You're like, oh no, go away. Go away. No. Because it's relatable. Backhand goes way up high to the forehand of Draper, goes to the forehand of Alcaraz. Backhand Draper goes to the forehand of Alcaraz, can't get it. Good pace of shot from Draper, advantage Jack. Yeah, if we get Djokovic versus Alcaraz, I reckon it's going to be a 5-set epic. I don't think Lehechka is beating Novak. Not after that third round performance. I just don't see it. I think Novak wins like maybe like 6-4, 7-5, 6-2 or something. Serve volley from Jack. I like that. Drop volley. Alcaraz runs off. Oh, of course he gets it with a ridiculous shot. Alcaraz is everywhere. He's got a teleportation device. My man's is cheating, but he's not doping. He's got a teleportation device. How is it? This freaking impossible shot there. Jesus Christ, he got under it. That was, I mean, it's ridiculous. The fact that he can do that with the athleticism. I mean, that's one of the most ridiculous guys I've seen Alcaraz have, actually. That was, I mean, you expected it, but it's just ridiculous stuff. When Novak's playing well in Oz, no one can beat him, in my opinion, not even Alcaraz. Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Alcaraz can beat Novak, but only if Novak's level drops. We'll see. I mean, yeah, we'll see. Serve, back into Alcaraz, return forehand, into the forehand of Alcaraz, up high, drop volley. Alcaraz runs through that, but that one might actually be impossible. So 3-1. I love Draper Alcaraz matches. I don't know. I'm already a fan. I like it. I mean, this is ridiculous. That get was insane. I mean, like I said, you expect it. It's not like it's surprising, but it should be. It's just ridiculous control of the racket. That's there's this foot speed, and then the control of the racket is just both are 1 in 1,000. And I mean that. Alcaraz is this kid's something else. 1 in 1,000, literally. It's ridiculous. Like, mind-blowing. I remember last year match between Djokovic versus Alcaraz. That match, Alcaraz just destroyed Djokovic. So what? I believe Alcaraz will definitely can destroy Djokovic in 3 or 4 sets. Last year match, Alcaraz destroyed Djokovic. When did that happen? Am I forgetting something? Oh, Wimbledon. Yeah, well, I am forgetting something. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, that was basically that. So, yeah, we'll see. But at Australian Open, a little bit different, especially right now. Novak's in a better spot than he was coming into that Wimbledon. But yeah, I mean, listen, you might be right. I'm not gonna disagree with you too much, because you could be onto something, but I just don't see it. Not right now. Not with Djokovic playing this well in Australia, unless Lehechka takes him to like 7-6 in the 5th, and Novak's got no legs left, and Alcaraz just plays a match as good as he did in that Wimbledon final, which I still think might be the best I've ever seen Alcaraz play. I'm not gonna say that Alcaraz is gonna destroy him. I think it's gonna be the very opposite. Like the very opposite. I think it could be one of the great matches that we'll see. But we'll see. It could be somewhere in the middle too. That usually is the case, but we'll see. Backhand cross court goes to the forehand of Draper. Forehand of Alcaraz goes to the backhand of Draper. Up high to the forehand of Carlos. That's going to go out. I was mentioning it earlier, but I'm going to be traveling to the Dallas Open very likely. So if you're going to be there, check it out. I don't know why I said check it out. If you're going to be there, tell me, and then let's meet up or something. And also watch out for potentially different interviews or stuff. It's still not confirmed that we will get media and stuff, but we're fingers crossed. We're hoping, and so we'll see what all happens. But likely I'll be going to Dallas in early February, and then Sunshine Double, and we'll see. Hopefully, but that's the plan. So we'll see. You can beat Sinner last year. Yeah, exactly. Big goal incoming. Novak beats Alki. Expect Alki to cry again. Damn. Novak losses have stung Alcaraz quite a bit. You noticed after Olympics. You noticed after freaking what was the other Cincinnati, which was basically a slam final. Cincinnati was like more than a slam final. That's what Novak said afterwards. That match was like freaking. That was a war. That wasn't just a slam final. That was a freaking war. That was a one-time event and experience. If you experienced Novak Djokovic, Carlos Alcaraz, Cincinnati final, you have experienced a one-time event. There's nothing else like it. Big serve from Alcaraz. That's going to be point over, 4-1. Not quite a bagel, but he might be on his way to a breadstick, which today has been copyrighted by Tommy Paul, who won 3 of them. He was feeling pretty hungry for Italian food. Ate some breadsticks. Draper won a game. Woohoo! Yeah, I agree. He really needs to play his best to win this. Wasn't playing well. I am saying only when he plays his best. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I agree that he wasn't playing his best. Djokovic 38. What do you expect from him winning matches as possible? When Djokovic plays Alcaraz or Sinner, Djokovic even plays his best, still he loses from both of them. Well, he beat Alcaraz in the Olympics final, though. I mean, we can't discount that. That was also after Wimbledon. If I'm not mistaken, that's the last time they've played. So it's not always the case. Also against Sinner, I don't know, I don't know. It's not always the case. That's all I'll say. But yeah. Yes, I don't want to talk about Alcaraz Novak because I don't want to discount Draper or Lehechka. I think that it's going to be Djokovic versus Alcaraz. I think people are overestimating Lehechka in that circumstance. And no offense to Yuri, but I just don't see it happening. I think Lehechka is a very solid player, but who's going to have a lot of upsets down the road. But I see him upsetting players that are like Tsitsipas or like a solid 6th or 7th, 8th in the world player. And Djokovic is that actually, but he's not really 6th in the world. He's Djokovic at the Australian Open. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter whether you're 6th in the world when you're Djokovic at the Australian Open. Let's just be honest. Backhand goes way wide from Draper, so it's left 15. But yeah, I just don't see Lehechka beating Novak. And this could be one of those moments that's clipped, and that people rewind and they're like, haha, what an idiot. Sorry, Jesus. It's going to be a winner from Alcaraz, left 30. Stop attacking me. I'm only a man. Left 30, 1-4. 6 points away from a 2-set-to-love lead for Alcaraz. If I'm not mistaken, Alcaraz, there are 2 things about Alcaraz. He has never lost a 2-set-to-love lead, and he's never, well, that for sure. And he's never, unless Mikael Ymer beat him from 2-sets-to-love down, but I don't think he did. And also, he has never come back from 2-sets-to-love down, which is even stranger because he's quite clearly capable of doing so. But he just hasn't really been put in that position, I guess. Rarely finds himself down 2-sets-to-love. But that's going to change sooner than later. Is that the right? It's so late. It's hard for me to think about what I'm saying, which is not ideal. Yeah, anyway, that's going to happen soon. That Alcaraz is going to come back from 2-sets-to-love down at some point. Yeah, Alcaraz has never lost from 2-sets-to-love up, and he's never came back from 2-sets-to-love down. Backhand goes to the forehand of Draper, cross court. Backhand of Carlos goes to the backhand of Draper, forehand of Carlos. Goes to the forehand of Draper, way up high. That forehand of Alcaraz is great. And Draper is just not really moving much anymore. Draper looks like he's physically spent. He is a gas engine that's out of gas. I'll tell you what. This might be match over after this set, honestly, because Draper is just not moving. Draper might even retire in this game. I hope that's not the case, but Draper is even holding his side a little bit. I don't know. We'll see, but it's a little bit worrisome. Is that Tim Henman as well, I think? That'd be unfortunate if Draper, half of the matches that these two play against each other, Draper has to retire, but you can't blame Draper. He's made it competitive thus far, and he's just, I don't know. He's had to come back from 2-sets-to-1 down in his first 2 matches. Draper is definitely moving gingerly. I'm not going to be surprised if he cuts the cord after this set, but we'll see. Good effort anyway, in my eyes. I'm not blaming him. And Alcaraz has really upped his level in the second set. This is the level he'll need to have against Novak. Trust me on that. First serve in the net, second serve. That's going to be a tough match for both, I tell you what. Backing down the line, goes to the back end of Draper. Forehand of Carlos, goes to the back end of Draper. Cross court, big shot. Forehand Draper, that's in the net. I just feel like Draper's, yeah, it's going to be Alcaraz in the quarters because Draper is just not, he's not there. I don't discount players, but Draper is just, he's not there right now. We'll see if Novak can meet Alcaraz, but it's going to be Alcaraz in the quarters. 30 love here at 5-1 the second. First serve is a let. Draper has given up. He's not even running. Yeah, that's how I feel too. $40 love. He gets a 3-set points. Yeah, I mean, it might not even be worth it to keep going here because Draper is really just not giving much of an effort by him. It's just physical. I think Draper's going to call it, honestly, but we'll see. Is Draper pulling the cord or no? It's hard to tell. Draper's going to his chair, so it's not done yet. It might be done, though, when the physio talks to him. I don't know. Physio's talking to Draper. I think the camera's going to stay here because they don't know. Oh, I think Draper's calling it. Or I don't know. Draper's talking with the physio. Yeah, I think Draper's calling it. Yeah, he's calling it. Yeah, it's done. I don't blame him. Good effort from Jack. Match over. Alcaraz through to the quarters. Great effort from Jack. Unfortunate that he has to keep retiring against Carlos, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good effort, despite the fact that he's obviously very physically spent. Great second set from Carlos. He'll get some confidence from that. And not ideal prep going into the match against Novak, but maybe in hindsight, it's good that he played 4 sets against Borges. Anyway, I think Alcaraz is going to be a formidable opponent in that quarterfinal, and so is Novak if he can beat Yuri Lehechka tonight. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Super fun. I couldn't get to all the comments, but I'll try to get to everything now just real quick. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you guys. Yeah, he retired. Yeah, unfortunately, Lexi retired. It's okay, Draper, whatever. Let's go, John, Lexi. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Yeah, thanks, Lexi, as well. I'll be back for more streams. You know that already, though. So I'm expecting a banger of a match, more like a 5-setter. Yeah, exactly. Alcaraz in beast mode. This is dangerous time for Novak because Alcaraz will play one-sided when he's. You're way too overconfident. If you've watched 15 years of Novak in Australia, if Novak gets through Lehechka, Alcaraz is not going to have anything coming his way. I promise you. See you later, Sam. I promise. I literally promise you. But anyway, it is what it is. All right. We'll see what happens. It is. Yeah. Thanks, Terry, as well. Alcaraz played a great second set. Unfortunate for Jack. I enjoyed it anyway. Good effort from both. And yeah, I'll see you guys for the next one. Alcaraz through to the quarterfinals. Check out more streams coming soon and all that stuff. See you guys later.